When you hear mental health, you always think crazy, like somebody's crazy, they're out of their mind, they're psychotic.
You know, when I was young, I don't believe that mental health was ever on the radar as something that was quote unquote diagnosable or needed to be treated.
You know, like, oh, why can't they take medication? Why doesn't medication work? Or if they really wanted to, they could get better. They can control themselves, and you know, those are misconceptions that are wrong.
The parents' involvement in their child's mental health is so important. It's insurmountable because your parents is your first form of support and love and validation. And when you don't get that from your parent, when I didn't get that from my parent, or when I felt like I didn't get it from my parent, that shut my entire world down. And that's what made it feel like I was the wrong one. Not that anyone else told me that I was wrong, it was that I didn't have that validation from my mother or my father. I've always felt different. The earliest I can remember is when I was about 8. And I just felt off. And I would come to my mom and say, Mom, something isn't connecting here. And she, mom, so she's like, oh, you're fine, whatever, you're just being dramatic. Anytime I had a hard time walking into a room because of anxiety, it's well, there's something wrong with me, or having a hard time just interacting with other people, if there's something wrong with me, or not being able to control, being super, super upset, or super, super happy, which I never recognized as being a problem until I got diagnosed. And I was yeah, that's not okay. You can't just think that you're invincible and do everything, and because eventually you're going to come down off of that. But not having that validation that no, this is not your fault. It just, an entire life was just feeling wrong.
I've had the lowest of lows. I've had moments where I've had that belt, wrapped around my neck, and I never really wanted to die. I never not wanted to be here, right? I always wanted to be around my family, my friends, but mental illness and mental health challenges can get to you to where you believe, right? Or you start to think, or you're just so disconnected that you don't even know how to connect the dots, right? So I've had moments where, I've had that belt and I've been pulling it tighter and tighter and tighter, and just been what the heck am I doing? On the inside, you got all the stuff that you're dealing with. You got your depression, your anxiety, all your socioeconomic stuff you're dealing with. But on the outside, it's I got my J's on, I got my money, I got this, I got that. But it was just a facade, right? And I was trying to so hard to just keep up that image. But it was I was hollow, I was super hollow on the inside. So I finally got to a point where I was you know what? I'm me. I'm sensitive, I care about people. I want to see my family get out of this predicament that they're in, and I want to take care of my head and my heart. And that doesn't make me soft. It doesn't make me any less of a human or a man. It makes me more of a man. I believe in the power of prayer, and I felt the power of prayer in my life. But at the same time, I recognize that with mental illness, you could still have your spiritual and religious belief set. I would recommend coupling it with something. If you have an actual mental illness, you need that support. You need the support of your congregation, you need the support of your church, but you also need professional support and help. So the stigma around it is a huge barrier, not just in the Black community, just period.
So I did go see my PCP, and I was talking to her about it, and she was well, I'll need a referral from a psychiatrist or whatever. So I sought out a therapist, and I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. So all of these feelings I'd had since I was a kid that, that were kind of shunned away and wasn't really acknowledged as being anything, all of the things that went into me feeling there was something just wrong with me, or I was just bad and I was wrong, and I was making a decision to feel the way that I did. All of that made sense and it all clicked, but it took until I was about 26, I think, when I went to see my therapist, when I started that process.
I think I got really lucky with my mom. She actually goes to school currently for social work, so she's very privy to all of the things that we need in our day-to-day life to maintain mental wellness. But my dad, he doesn't really understand that it's a real thing. So like if I were to come to him with an issue, he really wouldn't take it very seriously. I think he'd be like, just get on up, like you're fine, you're all right. You don't really need to be experiencing this at all, like you're fine. You have a great life, you are very blessed. Like he would give me the whole spiel about how I have nothing to be upset about.
I think my perception as I've become an adult and am now a professional is just that everything is related to mental health. And I think that when we can get away from stigmatizing mental health, because if you had a heart attack, you go to a cardiologist. If you're diabetic, you take diabetes medication and you see an endocrinologist. If you break something, you might go to an orthopedic surgeon. So why is it when what we think and feel is obscured in some capacity that we elect not to do anything about that?
Talk to your own kids. Don't be afraid to ask them questions. Don't be afraid to ask them how they're feeling.
They support me, they love what I do. They love that I'm a giver, I'm a helper, I'm a nurturer, but we don't, like as far as us sitting down and being like, let's talk about mental health, like I have never had those conversations with my parents, and it's, I would like to though.